Welcome to Heartspeak Podcast, episode 263, Finding Peace in Wholeness. Well, hello there, wherever you are in the world. It's good to be back with you, and I hope you're dealing with these very tumultuous times. As I mentioned before, with Pluto, like a great liner turning in an ocean, and now going direct since October the 10th, Pluto has been stirring up, making waves, massive waves, causing unexpected events, tensions, anger to erupt, fear. But she's also been stirring up the depths of the ocean bed, everything that's been lying on the ocean bed for thousands of years, all the pains, the sufferings, the battles, the disappointments, it's all coming to the surface, all the stories, all the events. It's like all the instruments of war are being thrown up to the surface for us to be seeing, revealing, and dealing with once and for all. So my heart goes out to all of those who are feeling this massive turning of Pluto, this massive transformation, who are caught up in it. And I truly send my love to all of those who are suffering, grieving, struggling, anxious, feeling chaotic, feeling that they have nowhere to go. But something has to change. And this is that time for humanity to recognize the change that's needed. And this is not a time for taking sides, whether between ourselves, inside ourselves, or within a family or within a country. We've done with polarity. That's what's caused the problem. This is a time for wholeness. This is a time for unification, the acceptance of differences, bringing you a unified field. And it reminds me so much of Rumi's poem. Remember, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing or right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in this grass, the world is too full to ask about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. This is a time to not see us as separate, but to see us as a continuum. And the events of this week with a solar eclipse on the 14th is really magnifying the need for wholeness, not again only between us and someone else, but between us and us. There are stories, whether I talk about Demeter or Demeter and Persephone, or Isis seeking out the cut up parts of her lover Osiris. But both Isis and Demeter are the great love that exists within each of us, the part of us that says, I don't feel whole. I feel that I need to stop looking outside from my sense of wholeness, my identity being expressed in the outside world. I need to go within. I need to find those parts of myself that have become separate. I need to have the courage to go into my inner world, my underworld. And with Pluto stirring up the ocean beds, that other world, that underworld is coming to us. And it's being even more exaggerated by the fact that we have a solar eclipse on the 14th, when the moon passes between the earth and the sun. If you imagine this moon passing in front of the sun, blanketing out what the sun shines on, it's as if when the moon passes in front of the sun, we are forced into a mini dark night of the soul. We're forced to face those things that we've been trying to avoid by looking at the shiny lights outside. We're forced to say, what part of me do I need to integrate to feel peace? What part of me are separate? And that's the time we are in at this time. And as we go into a dark night of the soul, it's not that you're going there because you don't have anything in the outer world. It's because you realize that anything in the outer world, your identity, maybe your family, your home, your job, they're not enough. What you know that brings wholeness is to see and feel and know and embody what is truly you, beyond the reality that we call the outer world. I remember when I was in general practice having everything I wanted. Great partners, great patients, everything I wanted, and I was dead inside. And like many in the same situation, I tried to reorganize the outside thinking that would make me feel alive again, but it didn't. Because the deadness wasn't that I didn't exist. It meant that that which I had outside was no longer feeding me. That which I wanted to organize, maybe even go to war against, maybe to battle against, to struggle against, wasn't enough. These ideas of wrongdoing and rightdoing didn't give me enough sense of identity. They only caused me to feel more separate from myself. And so that was the time when I left general practice. I went inside. Like Persephone, I went into my underworld. I went in search of myself. And many of you may have had dark nights of the soul, times where you said, I can't go on in this. It feels great, but it's not fulfilling me anymore. It's not meeting my wholeness. It's not like finding another job. It's I need to find myself. Have you been there? So this is a time for the great love that lives inside you, the one that says, I can only feel whole when I find myself, when I reconnect to my wholeness, when I find the peace that comes from knowing all that I am. I will go there, however much it challenges me. And so as the moon moves in front of the sun, it's literally revealing to us in the darkness, away from the bright lights, everything that keeps us separate. The thoughts in our head, the feelings in our heart, the words that people have said, don't trust them, don't go there, these are bad people, these are good people. All those ways in which we've been taught to feel separate. These walls. And these walls are represented by Saturn. Saturn, as I say, is coming closer and closer to Pluto over these next few weeks until we get to November the 4th. Everything that causes a wall between me and myself are coming to a head. This doesn't mean that I don't have a sense of self. I need that sense of self. And actually, as I bring more and more parts to me, I realize that that sense of self is actually very important. I am not someone else. I am myself. And being myself allows me to say to someone else, be yourself. Be yourself. You're not me. We're moving into this world of accepting the diversity that lives within us. But that doesn't mean becoming someone else. Be your uniqueness. And then we find wholeness. So this is a time, and certainly if you're listening to me before the eclipse, spend time writing down what keeps me separate from myself. And don't just say fear. Fear of what? Fear of meeting yourself, or meeting bad parts of yourself, or meeting something you don't like. Go and meet it. Because within us all are all parts, the warrior, the tyrant, the abuser and the abused. They're all living within us, at which we run away from, we go to war against. We say that's a bad person because they have something in them that I'm fearful of meeting in myself. This is a very big time, my folks, and I'm sorry that I'm being so strong about this. But this is not a time to point fingers or project our fears. Saturn in Pisces, projecting who we are out into the world and then going to war against it. It can be my own body, projecting the problem of my body. I'm struggling against something that's attacking my body. I must go to war against it. Instead of saying, no, my body is the vehicle, the vessel of my transformation. Let me meet what it is that I feel is attacking me. Let me bring it into the great love that is me. And so we have in this solar eclipse, we have a new moon. New moons are always the dark moon, are the most powerful times. It's when we stop looking outside, as I say, and we go inside and find ourselves. So the new moon is in Libra. Libra sun, Libra moon. Libra solar eclipse. What is Libra? Libra is about balance, justice, fairness, relationships. It's the us, where the me and the you come together. The challenge for Libra, or anybody with Libra in their sign, in their astrology, is that we often think of other people before we think of ourselves. So the balance, the harmony comes from the both, the meeting of hearts, the meeting of needs. So rather than seeing it as just the infinity sign where you have me and you, we meet in the us, in the center. This flow of energy. I am both me and I am us. We flow. It's not just one or the other. And that meeting of minds, that meeting of places, that meeting of hearts is where we need to be. And Libra is offering us that place, that coming together, that place where we lie down in the field, where there is no wrongdoing, rightdoing, that idea of polarization, that doesn't exist. And any idea or thought of that just takes us away from knowing that in that wholeness, we find peace. And I wish to just read a little poem from Thich Nhat Hanh, not a little poem, but a very important one that I found. Thich Nhat Hanh, certainly a proponent of peace. And let me read this to you. Treading the path that leads to the moon, I look back and can't stop marveling. I see a bubble of water on the immense ocean of space. It is the Earth, our green planet, her sumptuous beauty sparkling and proud, yet oh so fragile. In her, I discover myself. Walking mindfully on the earth, a grassy path, my feet make the promise to embrace the early morning and touch the peace of the present moment. Autumn leaves fall and cover the path, unrolling a carpet of walking meditation. A shy squirrel hiding behind the oak tree looks at me, surprised, then dashes to the top of the tree and disappears behind a cluster of leaves. I see a clear stream flowing between cracks in the rocks, its water laughing while the trees whistle. Together we celebrate a morning of peace. At the same time, I see places of deep suffering where men imprison men and make each other suffer. The waves of discrimination, hatred, and greed, inevitable causes of catastrophe, crash upon the earth. Chicks of the same hen wear different colors in order to fight with each other. Heart-rending cries declare the horrors of war. Brothers and sisters, the beautiful earth is us. I embrace her and tenderly hold her against my chest. Breathing together in the same rhythm, we restore our calm our peace. Let us accept ourselves so we may accept one another. Let us share the vision and make it possible for great love to arise. Thich Nhat Hanh's poem, Morning of Peace, from his book, Call Me by My True Names. Can we find that place within ourselves to find our own peace? Peace comes when we no longer have anything to fear in meeting ourselves. Have the courage to not go to war against yourself, but to face those parts and embrace them into your heart, saying, I accept you as another part of me. You do not have to always express those parts. As I say, you can hang them as clothes in a closet, choosing to take them out if you wish. Today you can be a tyrant, or you can choose not to. But spending all our life running away from that which we've hidden in the deep ocean, hoping never to see, those times are over. We will only find peace when we accept all that we are, especially those parts that we've hidden from ourselves. Because in those pieces that we've hidden, we've probably hidden the pieces that are wise and beautiful and extraordinary. Bring those parts to our heart. There is nothing in you or I that is not part of the great love. There is nothing in you that doesn't exist somewhere in me. Let us find the peace within ourselves that we can then entrain others to find within themselves. Let us stop these wars and battles within ourselves, which will then lead to more peace in the outer world. So I ask, if you are listening before the eclipse, spend some time as if that dark moon is offering you all those things that you have hidden. Find a place within your heart to embrace them. Pour water onto the earth containing all those things you no longer wish to hold on to, those stories, those events, those hatreds. Pour them onto the earth. Mother Earth can change them. Find the great love within yourself. Find the peace within your wholeness. Peace starts with us. Namaste.
Thanks for listening to the HeartSpeak podcast with Dr. Christine Page. Please check out all HeartSpeak episodes in the podcast archive section on www.christinepage.com. HeartSpeak is also available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Tumblr, and now playing on Amazon Music and iHeart Radio. You can also watch the archive podcast on Christine's channel, on YouTube, and now on Rumble. Connect with Christine on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook group, The Great Mother Calling. Do share with family, friends, colleagues. Join us next time for another edition of HeartSpeak.